Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas for the month that I sort of missed out on. But mainly, welcome back to the Top Cut Academy. I am Professor Benji, and I am back on the grind with my Archie's Ace in the Hole. Thought I'd throw it back. I've just finished playing a ROM hack of Pokemon Emerald called Emerald Sea Glass, made by, I believe, the developer is called Nemo. If they ever see this, shout out. Loved it. It was amazing. It was sort of like Emerald with Gen 2 glasses and a much more extended Pokedex with a lot of the later gens in it and stuff like that. So that was really cool. Loved it. And I've now started the next game, Pokemon Lazarus. So I will post some of that at another point, I believe. But more of a thing, I thought I'd pick a nice Archie's Ace in the Hole as a little throwback to those that know it, to give a short shout out to those remakes I've been playing. But yeah, I am back with the Top Cut Academy. For those who do watch, the small amount of you, should I say, that do watch, I'd just like to apologise for my absence. There were a number of reasons I wasn't able to upload much in December. The first one of those is work got pretty hectic in the lead up to Christmas. I was working a lot of night shoots and extended hours through the day, so I didn't really have enough time to edit videos in the night before I was sort of needing to go to sleep to make sure I was up in time, because I was sort of working almost like 11 in the morning till 1 at night sort of thing. So it was just like really, really ridiculous hours. And then as soon as Christmas finished, my wife went in for a surgery, and I was sort of looking after her for a week and a half while she recovered. She is back on the mend now, though, and we've both gone back to work now. And I just thought that what better way to start off the new year? I think that now I'm back in work, I'm going to have that time again to dedicate to some videos in the lead up to Birmingham Regionals, which I've been testing for quite a bit after Christmas, and then internats as well. So I wanted to sort of get on that content grind again. I'm here. I still have a huge passion for this channel, and I am going to bless you with many more videos in the future. I just wanted to sort of break down what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making a lot more shorts, short clips for TikTok and YouTube. You can follow on TikTok at the same address as here. And sorry, itchy nose. And yeah, I'm going to be making a lot more short sort of memes and funnies and stuff like that for Pokemon, just so I can get consistent uploads for you guys. And then it's going to be one or two, and when I have a little bit more time, three more, proper videos, longer length videos. And I want to get in the routine of doing that every week, stay on that content grind, and hopefully we can grow this lovely academy together. As I said, I've got a passion for the game. I don't claim to be the best in the world. I don't claim to know everything, but I think with a vast knowledge and sort of a love to try and come up with new ways to enjoy and play the game and practice and learn, I think I am one of the best people out there who can bring that to you. And so I think that sort of bridges nicely into what this next video is going to be about. I have been playing a lot of Pokemon over Christmas, sort of post-Christmas, should I say, after the actual date of his Lord and Savior. And I found that I feel that the game was feeling a bit stale to me. That's not the reason I haven't uploaded. It's just that I haven't been able to give you sort of meaningful content based on what I've been doing. And I'll explain that a little bit more as we get into the main topic of the video. But I think that I feel it's been such a long time now that Goldengo, Gardevoir, Dragapult, and Charizard, between the four of them, have pretty much dominated the format for probably the last 2 years now, maybe even a little bit longer if you include in the full reign of Charizard. So I think that that is the first reason. I think that we sort of had a brief period there where it looked like maybe Dragapult had fallen out of the top tier decks, but that didn't last very long, even with the release of Psyduck. I think that Guardy sort of took one or two small drops, but now has gained Mega Diancie and is fully back in the swing. And if anything, is better than it's ever been because it no longer sort of auto loses to Zorro. And then I think that Goldengo is stronger than it's ever been, even though it's always been pretty prevalent in the relative meta. that it's been part of. And then, of course, Charizard's always in and out. There's been some low points, been some high points, but I think definitely since Worlds last year, it's been on a bit of a high run. So I was feeling a bit bored with playing the same sort of stuff and sort of constantly needing to come up with new ways to get around those decks. And obviously, as a lot of you may know who have been watching the channel on sort of a regular basis, I've been playing EVBox a lot. As much as it didn't go fully to plan in Lille when I did play it, I think that the cup wins that I've got, the second place at cups, all of my challenge points, stuff like that, has all been with Flareon. Every single point I've earned this season, bar maybe like one tournament, has been with the same deck, and I absolutely loved that deck. However, now that Dragapult has sort of evolved into no longer sort of being Slowpolt, and Sylveon not really being that relevant anymore with things like Lily that can allow you to draw more cards, stuff like that. Dragapult's not a great matchup for Flareon. Then, Gardevoir was always a tough matchup for Flareon, and I think that sort of the money match between Henry Chow and Emma Hagen showed that sort of when two elite level players, and that's what I always think you should base your matchups on. If you're playing at League and you think that people are a similar level to you, unless you sort of consider yourselves the upper echelon of players, then I wouldn't really base whether you have a good matchup or not. You need to sort of think about when you're 7-0, 8-0 in day two, going into top eight, will those players be able to find ways to beat your deck consistently? And that's how I think you judge whether it's a good matchup or not. So, playing against people like that I have at League, who I deem to be very, very top level players, we're finding easy ways to sort of beat Flareon as we moved into sort of Mega Evo format. So I wasn't feeling that great about the deck, so I started to put it down a little bit, stop learning a little bit with it, and I think it's a good decision on the whole. I think that its online results have sort of fallen off. It's almost fallen down to like 20th place in playability online as well. So I think that the overall arc of the deck is sort of on the down, so now it's on the far side of the rainbow. So that brought me to sort of where I'm going with this and what our content's going to be looking like in the lead up to Birmingham, and what I'm going to bring you a video on later in this week. And that is, I've been trying to find other ways to beat these decks. Now, what I mean by that is, I feel that especially when you're playing at a competitive level and you have things like cups, regionals, internationals, all that sort of stuff to test for, you don't spend a lot of time sort of thinking outside the box, trying to, I say rogue decks, but I don't mean decks that are rogue and aren't good. I mean, you're actually trying to develop something new. You're trying to create an archetype that does something different than sort of your standard 10 decks that are currently being played in format. And I feel that a lot of people don't have a lot of time to dedicate to those things, just based on the fact that you need to sort of put all your eggs in sort of relative baskets to make sure your testing is going well. But I've had time, and there has been no Pokemon for the last month. I have been sat in the house looking after my wife after her operation. We haven't been going far. And so I thought, what a great time to start developing maybe some off the wall, some outside of meta picks that I could maybe play for Birmingham, for London. They're a little bit outside the box, catch my opponent off guard while also having good matchups. And there are one or two decks that I think I have sort of, I don't want to say completely developed. All of these ideas have sort of come from other people's decks, but I think that I've adapted them and put many games into them to where I feel that I'm getting to a level where they could be deemed quite relevant and actually a pick for me for Birmingham. So, although the other tournaments that I've been to over the year that I've been bringing you content on has always been sort of like a ranking of the best decks, the decks you're going to see, the match you need to prep for. We're almost putting a reverse spin on everything, and we're going to go through a couple of rogue picks that I've been working on, and I think we can probably create quite a few videos going through those and how I've come up with like how I've come up with what cards are in there and what cards I've cut and so on and so forth, and how my list has got to where it is and where I'm continued to try and push it to. So that is what I'm going to be bringing you later this week. I think this video was just to sort of reintroduce myself and the content we're doing here and what I'm going to be bringing you soon. So tomorrow I actually have League. I have the deck built. I've been playing an awful lot online, which obviously I will continue to show as well. But I think that I wanted to play some IRL games with the deck. Obviously, a very different experience playing online and also against people I know are competent at the game, the people that I test with. So we're going to take that deck tomorrow. We're going to make it, and we're going to play some games with it, which should be really good fun. And hopefully, out of that, I'll be able to bring you some games, some IRL gameplay of that deck. Now, I will reveal what it is afterwards, but I'm sort of keeping it anonymous for now because it is really cool. I'm really, really excited to sort of get going with this, and hopefully it works out in real life. But I think that even I don't want you to think that I'm going to go. I'm going to play the deck, and if it doesn't do well, that's it. And I won't post those videos because it's not performed well. I'm actually going to be doing the opposite. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be uploading a series, whether it be online gameplay, IRL gameplay of these decks and how I've adapted them and upgraded them and da da da. And then hopefully in the next couple of weeks when we get to Birmingham, we've got the finished product. Even if we end up settling for something a little bit more meta, a little bit more mainstream with a little twist, that is fine. But I want to go over and analyze with you all out there on why these decks are good, aren't good, why it can't beat a certain matchup, what we can put in to fix that matchup. And so, yeah, that is what I'm going to be bringing. So, a small message from me. I know not many people out there will care, but we are trying to grow this channel from where we are. And yeah, and so without further ado, I will show you the spice that I've been working on. And it's a fan favorite. It is none other than Greninja EX Counterbox. So it's not just Greninja, it's got a nice little counterbox in there, and we'll swipe on it over and I'll show you the deck. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We'll break all that down in our next video. I just wanted to sort of give you guys an idea of where the list is at the minute. So we'll swipe on over, check it out. And here we are. So first up, I just want to give a shout out to Richie1705 for a great finish in online tournament. This is sort of where we got the initial idea, but our list is looking a little different now. But I just want to give a shout out to Rishi1705 for the sort of initial inspiration for this. So as you can see, it's a bit of a counterbox. We know that Greninja's fighting type is pretty relevant right now. We know that Tanking Kang is popular. We know that Absolbox is still fairly popular. We know that it can sort of hit for consistent 170, and of course use Mirage Barrage to take snipes, knock out Evolving Basics very early. Very similar to how things that are playing Wellspring Ogerpon are trying to take advantage of this. We're trying to do the exact same thing, except with our deck, we can do it a little bit less consistently, should I say, on sort of the first or the second turn. But the trade-off for that is being able to do it, further into the game. We can use this to both open and close games and sort of target things. Obviously, Waterpon, with it being easier to set up, can only hit the active and the bench, whereas we can put our 120 damages wherever we like. So we can take 2 bench Pokemon, we can do the active for weakness and a bench Pokemon for 3 or 4 prizes, and so on. So you get the gist. We are going for that. Of course, Pidgeot has to be in this deck. Any deck with a Grand Tree pretty much has to play Pidgeot, in my opinion. The best and most powerful search card in the game. I feel like every deck that has had a Pidgeot in it has seen some level of success over the last 2 years, including, Terrabox and EV Box as it started to play it more recently as well. I just think those decks have become even more consistent. But I think this aspect of the deck is what I've really been enjoying playing, and I'm going to be looking into other ways we can sort of use this Zoroark, because I do think when I saw it, it sort of was a throwback to, the exact same card apart from I think the Myjack did a little bit less damage. But the Foul Play Zoroark has already been in our sort of black and white format way back when. So I think that, I already knew this card would be quite powerful when it came out. Maybe it just had to see the right time. And then paired with the Ignition Energy, this Foul Play, if you don't know, allows you to copy an attack of your opponent's active Pokemon and use it as this attack. Now, this is in here mainly for Gardevoir, as it slots very nicely into that. We already play the Buddy Poffins, we play the Hilders, that obviously allow us to grab Zoroark and an Ignition Energy all in one. Grand Tree can just jump us up into that stage 1 as well. But I think another reason it's in here is it can actually be a really, really resourceful attacker to hit hard. So, for example, into the Dragapult matchup, we can use Mirage Barrage early and take 2 prizes. And then as a Dragapult comes in, if they sort of leave Duskulls around on the bench and so on and so forth, Foul Play can use Phantom Dive, hit the 20, sprinkle 6 on the back and things, and then they're only taking 1 prize back. So I do think that the Zoroark, for that reason, is really strong. It offers us several other avenues. And then, all the other cards I will go into in a lot more detail when I actually break this down for you in the video we have later this week with the gameplay. But yeah, this is sort of where we're going to go first with our testing. And I think other things on the list, I've been really trying to make Duraludon work. Archaludon work again. I think that card has a lot of potential just because the only real thing hitting it for weakness is sort of the same counters that hit into Goldengo, but we have that slightly bit higher HP that can keep us alive. And of course, we can take that weakness away by attacking. But I just think there's some ways to manipulate our Chaladon nowadays as well to sort of make it a little bit bulkier and a sort of a deck on its own with that sort of that poison package and stuff that makes it inconsistent. I think there is something to be said just because the one-shot decks, obviously bar Goldengo, but we have a way around that in the list that I've been working on that I will show you. I think that bar that, there aren't a lot of decks that are able to sort of hit high numbers all in one hit without sort of you taking prizes, so on and so forth. So yeah, a deck that I've also been working on, I'm looking forward to. But yeah, this video, almost pointless for those who don't care, but just me sort of re-announcing myself onto the scene. I'm still sort of heavily uploading shorts, and I hope you enjoy those. I've been sort of delving into the meme culture of the TCG and trying to post some funny stuff. And yeah, please enjoy this. I will, as I said, post gameplay videos later on in the week, and I'll record a lot of my online gameplay as well, so we can talk through it all. As for now, thank you very much for tuning in once again. Happy New Year, and let's make 2026 a great one. From me, Professor Benji, and the Top Kit Academy. See you next time.